All right. Hey, hi. Ken Dixon, life coach, life trainer, call me whatever you want to call me. Look, I've been doing this for a long time and I've studied a lot of the universal laws, and I know that this law is going to apply to you. And I'm hoping that you got here from the last video. I'm hoping the number you got was 9, because that really is a weird phenomenon, don't you think? That you got the number 9. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people got the number 9. If not everybody, a lot of people got the number 9. If you're here and you didn't get the number 9, check your math. I have a feeling you might have got to the number 9. Anyways, number 9 is a whole other story, and one day I may get to that. But the reason I wanted to bring you here and to this, first off, I wanted you to understand that we really are all connected. Somehow, some way, we're all connected. And just that little math thing, it's a fun little math thing, but it shows that it doesn't matter when you were born, what day, you could even put your hour in there, what day, what time, how old you are now. We're all connected somehow. And the number 9 is just a way that I like to show you that somehow, some way, everything focuses back to the same thing. So what I want to talk to you about today is the universal law of polarity. And I've studied this a lot, and I know that this is a powerful universal law in our lives. A lot of us have heard about the universal law of attraction, in that whatever we give our attention to, whatever we focus on, we bring to ourselves, right? Which is an important thing to think about. Considering today's situation, if all we do is think about the situation that's going on in the world, that's actually going on, and not think about the solution and what is possible and where we're headed and how we're going to get this cure done and how we're going to all survive this, if we don't all start focusing on those things, we're going to keep circling back and forth, circling around in this pool of uncertainty and stress. So look, the universal law of polarity, easily put, the best way I can explain it is it states that really you can't have a top without a bottom. You can't have a left without a right. You can't have a good without a bad. I'll get back to that one. You can't have a high tide without a low tide. In fact, you wouldn't know there was a high tide if there never was a low tide. Think about that for a minute. You can't have a sunrise unless the sun sets. You can't have a sunset unless the sun rises. Everything is balanced off in life. As I mentioned, you can't have a good without a bad. You can't have a bad without a good. It goes both ways. It's full circle. Everything has within itself the opposite of it. I believe it was Newton's third law. I think so. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Much smarter man than me, but he figured it out a long time ago. Whatever is happening in the world, there's another action taking place that's the exact opposite of it. Now, the reason I want to bring this up, the universal law of polarity, the reason I want to bring it up is because it seems like a lot of focus is on the illness right now, the illness that's taking over the world. We need to start changing our mind, changing a global focus on finding the cure, finding the solution, finding the help that people need, and finding the solution to this rather than focusing on the problem. Now, I've noticed the media of late has started to say how many people are recovering from this illness, which I think is awesome. Finally giving a sort of a positive spin, at least a glimmer of light, that this is a survivable thing. I think that's super important, and I think that we all need to start focusing on those things, the important things, okay? You got to understand the universal law of polarity, and it's just like the law of gravity. It applies to everything all the time, right? The universal law of polarity states you can't have a good without a bad, and you can't have a bad without a good. So whatever's happening right now, there is some good going to be coming. There is good. It has to come because everything is balanced out. High tide is balanced with low tide. Fear is balanced with confidence. What else can I tell you? Weakness by strength. We actually have words for everything negative. We also have a positive word that is the equal and opposite of those words. So it's so important that we start to focus on those things rather than focusing on what is actually happening. We have to start giving our attention, energy, and focus to what we want, not what we have, not what we have had. That is so important. That is the universal law of polarity. It exists. It exists. And it's on a global scale. We have a North Pole and we have a South Pole. On your car battery, you have a negative and a positive. It's contained within the same unit. That's the same with this particular illness. The cure is within the illness. And when you think about it, that happens a lot. If you have an allergy to something, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll actually, for the antidote for that, is they'll inject you with the thing you're allergic to until you get used to it. And then you're no longer allergic. That happens. The cure is within the illness. And that's with everything in life, not just with this particular illness, but whatever bad is happening in your life, you've got to understand that the equal and opposite thing is also involved in that. So I wanted to bring the law of polarity to light in this particular situation because we're so focused on what is happening instead of focusing on what we do want to happen. And it's so important. Understand sunrise, sunset, high tide, low tide, good, bad, bad, good. Okay, it's got to happen. They're contained within each other. So I want you to know that this is going to come to an end. There is a solution. There is a solution. If there is a problem, there is a solution. That's always been the way. So understand and start believing that the solution is coming, that the answers are on their way, that the cure, or at least the vaccine, is going to be developed. We've never been defeated. So it's going to be developed and we're all going to be okay. Okay. So understand, yes, there's some casualties in this particular situation, but understand that in every good thing, there's a bad thing, and every bad thing, there's a good thing. I just wanted you to get a sense of the universal law of polarity and how powerful it is. Everything that happens has the equal and opposite reaction, whether it's good or bad. In this particular situation, we're in a not so good situation. We're in a bad situation, but the good is contained within it. We just have to search for it. We have to focus on it. We have to find it. I want you to take that and have the best day ever.